This one whiskey?
That's whiskey, yeah. This is Dolly.
Whiskey and Dolly.
Whiskey and Dolly.
Chilling with Whiskey and Dolly.
It's pretty crazy because I didn't name them, but they're named after Dolly and Whiskey, aka Nashville, Tennessee type shit. You know?
Dang.
And then did you see her blue eye?
Oh, I did not notice she had a blue eye.
Yeah, it's pretty
she
crazy.
does have a blue eye.
Yeah. I'm like, you're fucking gorgeous, bitch. What the fuck?
I know, right?
Okay,
Gorgeous, like that song by St. John or whatever.
What?
You know that song, Gorgeous?
Gorgeous?
Gorgeous.
Gorgeous. I'm like, you're so gorgeous, Whiskey. So what's up, Eric? How you doing?
I'm doing great.
This is a long time coming, right?
Yeah, what the fuck?
Yeah. Well, honestly, it's like totally my fault. Like I have all this shit, bro, and that's like I never use it. I used it. I actually have a
Am I too
podcast
comfortable
to.
here?
No, dude, do whatever the fuck you want. It's supposed to be chill, you know. But it's cool, you know, like the fact that like you even know how to use this thing, because I don't know shit about
Right.
mixing audio and stuff like that.
To be fair, I always feel like I don't know shit how to do this either, but
But then somehow you do.
Yeah. I always feel it's because I always work with like insanely talented producers and engineers and shit. So I feel like the dumbass in those rooms, you know?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and then like it's crazy because like I beat myself up more than the average person, I think.
Right.
I think we have that in common. We like overthink because
Absolutely.
we like want to do a good job.
And then you beat
And-
yourself up about beating yourself up.
Yeah, I'll like, you know, yeah, literally,
And then you close
bro.
the loop of like
Yeah.
infinitely beating yourself up.
Yeah, I was actually having this thought today. Like, it's almost like when I do, like, I was doing a bunch of productive stuff. And then it's almost like when I'm like getting in the flow of doing a lot of productive stuff that my mind starts to be like, you're not doing enough. As I'm like literally actively being really productive.
Isn't that insane? I have the same.
It's like,
I have the same. It's like imposter
it's like your,
syndrome
it's
or
like
some
your
shit.
ego like trying
For
to
sure.
slow you down from doing stuff. And it's like, what the fuck? So yeah, no, like, so I'm always like, damn, I got to work on my craft. I need to like learn how to do stuff. And then it's like, right now sitting down, I'm like, how do I know how to do all this stuff?
That's a good point.
Because I mean, like,
you
looking
fucking
at
did it.
this, it's like, you know, that's a nice camera in front of us.
Yeah.
Those are nice lights. There's a nice laptop. It's like, I don't even know
That's
how
a
we
good
got
point.
here. So
That's a good point. You're stacking evidence, you know, that you are who
Yeah.
you say you are type shit.
exactly. That's what helps with imposter syndrome, is to like just be like, okay, what, like, you know, give
Deadass.
yourself credit for what you're already fucking doing.
The best way to, I guess, counteract imposter syndrome for sure is to actually just fucking do the thing. Be who you say you are.
Exactly. So obviously, like, I'm assuming that if people are watching this, they know you or me, right? Or maybe just a
True,
random
true.
person just stumble upon this video. But give us like your little like
Oh,
5-second,
shit.
not 5-second, but like 30-second.
Hey, what's up? Like I'm at a networking event and someone's like, "Who? My name
elevator
is so-and-so."
pitch type shit.
My name is Erick Grillo. I'm a singer-songwriter. That's usually what my pitch is. It's a very quick to the point, but I guess a little bit deeper on that. Yeah, I'm a musician. I'm a singer. I produce music. I'm an artist, content creator, all of that stuff, you know, what we do nowadays.
I'm a fucking Swiss Army knife.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What do? I do what it takes.
In order for you to succeed in the thing
whatever
that you
it
love to do, you
takes.
have to like learn how to do everything.
Exactly.
So earlier when I was thinking about questions that I wanted to ask you, I think recently whenever I first came across you or like met, you know, like we kind of knew mutual friends and stuff, it was because you were a trainer.
That's
And
right.
I was like, you were in Tucson doing group fitness and you were doing functional stuff and like kettlebell stuff. And I was in Nashville at the time. So I remember like, I was like hyped that, and a lot of the people that you were training at the time were
Yeah.
people that I used to train. So it
That's
kind of
so
like
fire.
made me feel really good
Yeah.
that they were doing functional stuff with you. And I think I like messaged you about it.
Yep.
And then you were, I remember I like tried to go back in our DMs today to see if those initial messages were there. And I don't know if you had a different account before or something, but
Oh, I did. Yeah, I did.
yeah. And so like, I don't know if they'd be there, but I remember
right. Yeah,
messaging
that is
you and
true.
just like,
Now I have a music account.
yeah.
The other
Yeah.
account still exists, but it's kind of like a Finsta. Like,
Oh, okay.
I
gotcha.
changed the
You can't tell people
name.
that. Damn, it's not offensive if you tell them.
oh my bad. Well, I'm not gonna tell you what the name is, but
Oh, okay.
I changed the name. I removed the profile pic. I changed the bio. It's like a burner account now.
Damn. It's like that. That's crazy. Well, if you find that, if you go back in your DMs,
Yeah.
are we still talking too fast for that thing or no?
No, we're good. We're good.
Okay, I'm going to stop yelling. But if we go back in those DMs, like I had messaged you saying, like I love the stuff that you're doing in Tucson. And then you're like, yeah, I'm actually like wanting to do more music. And I remember at the time I was like, dude, you have to come to Nashville.
Yeah.
And then we just started talking. But I think the other day, so like a lot of people don't know that I used to be a trainer, which is how I even know about you. But I think the other day you said something. Did you say you had a different career before that? That was like something crazy, and I don't remember. I was trying so hard to remember what it was. So I remember being like, "Wait, what?"
Yo, my life is a movie. It's actually like a 3-part Netflix documentary.
Okay. So what did you do before that?
Yo, I don't even know if this will give you the long version or the short version, but I went to school for nursing. I graduated as a nurse.
Oh shit!
I worked in adolescent psychiatric crisis for about 2.5 years.
Okay.
At Fort Lauderdale Hospital on Las Olas Boulevard in Las Olas, Fort Lauderdale. I think that hospital closed, but it was a psychiatric crisis facility, and
wow.
I worked particularly with the adolescent population is what I did. But that was like very anxiety and depression inducing for me. And I also found out that I wasn't really passionate about nursing, even though I was very competent as far as like book smarts and stuff like that goes. I just didn't have any passion for it. So I actually dove into fitness because fitness was the thing that I did the most of. Even as a nurse, I was like working 12-hour shifts, but I would always make time to hit the gym no matter what.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty crazy. And then like, how do you feel like, well, what made you want to do that in the first place? Just nursing, just like it was like a safe career or what?
Yeah, so believe it or not, the long version of that story is I got out of, while I was in high school, I was working under the table for a construction company.
Okay.
It was an electrical contractor, as a matter of fact. I when I was underage, I worked construction kind of just to like, I think the primary reason why I did it was to prepare myself to be an adult and to have like a proper career and job. But also I come from like a family of immigrants, so like, you know, there is, I guess, that background of like everyone works and type shit.
For sure, yeah.
And I the goal was to be an electrical contractor. I wanted to actually be a proper electrician. However, what ends up happening is the housing market crashes, which causes a lot of construction jobs to come to a screeching halt. And then I remember at one point I'm like, damn, like I'm trying to work, and they're literally sending people home because it's like there's no work.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, damn, I'm just sitting on my hands. So that inspired me to be like, okay, what type of job can I get that is like recession proof, for lack of better words? And at the time, and maybe even now still, I don't know, but it was very trendy to like be a nurse. I remember it being very like marketed, for lack of better words, especially in Miami, Florida. So I went to school for nursing at the, I guess, a community college, but I don't know if it's a community college anymore, but Broward Community College.
Broward, isn't that like in rap songs and shit?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah, like XXX Tentacion.
Oh, okay, yeah.
What's this guy's name? Kodak Black is from Broward, you know. Yeah, but it's in a ton of rap songs for sure.
Yeah, I'm like, I've heard that before. That's funny. Yeah.
So I went to Broward Community College and I got my fucking nursing degree. Sorry if I cussed.
No, you're good.
And yeah, so then you completed the circle there. I eventually got into fitness because it was a passion of mine that I always did. And I always came back to, and it was very centering and grounding, and it was a coping skill, and then that's why I became passionate about it. But over the years, I found out that I wasn't as passionate about fitness. It was just a coping mechanism, and what I've always been passionate about is the music and arts.
Yeah.
So after a breakup that I went through in like 2021, 22, I decided to pursue music full time.
Yeah. What like did you already sing, like I'm assuming, when you were younger, and like you just
so,
like
I literally have memories of me in a car seat singing.
Yeah. Like performing for the family, like
yeah,
announcing Erick Grillo. That my family used to do that shit to me.
Yeah, exactly.
Tanya Lopez.
Exactly. Or like there being like a get together and my family being like, "Oh, make Erick sing for the
Yeah.
the
And you ate
guests."
that shit up. I know you did.
That shit up. Yeah, it was like, you know, Alejandro Fernandez, Charlie Sa type shit.
Yeah.
Like Marco Antonio Solis, fucking Luis Miguel, and Aventura, Juan Luis Guerra, all these people, these classics. And then I picked up guitar when I was 9 years old because my aunt Denise was dating a guy that was fucking nice at guitar. He was nice at guitar. And they ended up getting married and having kids together, as a matter of fact. But I convinced him to convince my parents to get me a guitar.
Mm.
And that's when I got my Ibanez SZ and this little Marshall, like 15-watt amp that I had. And just played guitar like a motherfucker from the age of 9 on. And so I've always been a bedroom musician. I just never thought it was a serious, like,
I used to play guitar too.
yeah.
Yeah, I can probably still play a little bit. I don't have one, but
Yeah. No, yeah, it was never something serious for me. It was just something I didn't, like, I guess, at home.
like it's like a hobby, like for fun.
Yeah. And I remember one day we had a get together at my best friend at the time at his house because it was his birthday or something like that. And it was like a whole bunch of people from Pursue Fitness, matter of fact. And I had the guitars there, like
Like here, or you're saying like, oh, here, yeah.
And I had the guitars at the crib, like, you know, as decoration and shit like that. And people were like, "Well, you play?" And it's just hilarious because these people knew me as like a fitness professional.
Yeah, it's like a whole different like identity.
Completely different identity. And I was like, "Yeah, I play a little bit. I sing too." They're like, "What? Nah, Cap, you don't." They're like Kevin and them, you know, like Beto and all these people.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, I do. And I remember at the time I was in a relationship too with my ex Kristen, and she didn't even knew that I was, I guess, that nice at singing or playing guitar. And I bust out the guitar and I played Mirrors by Justin Timberlake. I played and sang Mirrors by Justin Timberlake. And by the time I was done, people were like,
damn,
just like jaw dropped.
It's like that scene in Step Brothers, and they're like, you're like a combination between Fergie and Jesus.
Exactly.
That's exactly how I imagine it.
And a few people were like, dude, you're not a personal trainer. You're a singer, bro.
That's
you're
wild.
A musician.
Yeah.
What are you doing? A few people, to the point where like,
you didn't even know that, huh? Like you knew, like you knew that you liked it, but like,
yeah, at that point it was just the limited mindset of like, you can't do that. Like, that's not a career that I can probably have.
Yeah.
And so,
That's
yeah,
cool.
man, at that point, I had a friend that worked at the Arizona Sands Club as like the bar manager.
Mm.
You know the Sands Club?
Yeah.
Yeah. And she literally got me my first gig.
Wow.
Like, no, dude, you're a singer.
That's crazy. And were you like nervous at all?
I was nervous, but like it was like I like to describe the nerves that I get as like a creative dynamic tension.
Yeah, that's how I feel when I'm it's like there's different layers of it, but like if like a class is like more than 15 people, right, but then there's like another level of like over 30 to 35 people in front of me, right, where it's just like it's actually one of the questions, or because a lot of my questions are revolving around, we'll throw some out, revolving around just kind of like a lot of the things that we vibe on, or the reason we become friends is because we're really into like energy and spirituality and stuff like that, and just kind of how all those things connect is what was coming to mind earlier. So so this is actually, so I think I told you, but last week I went to like this like humming workshop at the Source, and you know, like with an energy, everything, I'm definitely very much at the point where I think about everything as frequency. Like I am aware that everything has a frequency, whether it's color or sound or whatever, especially when you're like, you know, editing stuff like this, it becomes very obvious to you. My first question that I wrote down is, how do you feel singing full time has influenced how you process emotions? Because like when I went to this workshop last week, we did this like, you know, we learned about humming and the science of it and stuff like that. But then we did, some humming exercises where we were like inhaling all together, and then everybody was like letting out a hum at the end of their exhale. And then we did an ohm. So we did like an ohm together before we started the exercises, did the humming, then did another ohm. And the second one that we did, once we like everybody kind of got comfortable and like got into the humming or whatever, bro, like I was like, fuck, I felt like I was on a different fucking dimension. Like it felt like we turned into the fucking like no, it was the crazy, it's like a sound bath, kind of, you feel it inside your body. Yeah. It was like that, and it was like nuts, and I was like, holy shit, this is what like singers feel. And I can't imagine how like healing, just like letting your voice like out can be. So how do you feel like it's helped you process emotions specifically?
Honestly, yeah, there's like so much to like chew with just that statement. There's so much to go through with that question rather, but I guess for jumps, one of the things that comes to mind is the fact that, like, if I'm feeling incredibly anxious or sad or any negative frequency whatsoever, any negative vibration or emotion, and it's a day where I have a gig, the moment I start singing can be incredibly healing for me. Meaning, like, immediately once I start expressing, right? And that's like the opposite of like depression, they say, right?
Mm-hmm.
Immediately once I start expressing myself, musically or artistically, um, it's like a purging of sorts. It feels like a cleansing of sorts. Absolutely. When I get to do that, I feel just so blessed and grateful. And without a doubt, I'm expressing something, meaning I'm expressing and cleansing myself of those like negative emotions or feelings.
Yeah. Wow.
Secondarily, I would say, if I'm not gigging, like, yeah, for sure, to be able to like sit down and play guitar at all times or sit down and write whenever I want, that also is like very healing for me at all times. I'm not going to sit here and say that there hasn't been moments where I've gone up to perform and I actually start having some sort of like negative feeling come from it. But typically, I guess like that's kind of like what we sign up for with like these types of like healing practices, right? In the sense that like sometimes you're pulling the thread of something, and what comes out of it is something that needs to be purged, and sometimes those are ugly feelings, or like lesser desired feelings,
Yeah.
like when those negative feelings come up. And the same thing, especially when I'm writing, I feel like when I'm writing or working on my original music particularly, man, I've had some incredibly purging moments. Almost feels like a bad trip,
Mm-hmm.
when I'm writing. I've had moments like that.
Yeah.
Where it just feels like all the negative emotions are just bleh.
Yeah. There's this, I went on this podcast when I was in Houston, and I still follow the podcast page, and they posted a clip today where the guest is talking about the difference between, I think I wrote it down, feelings and emotions. And the way that he described it was like kind of, even though like I feel like, like I think about it this way, I know this, it was just the way that he said it was like, whoa. He said like feeling is like what a lot of people get stuck in, which I totally think I resonate with this, is like feeling is like thinking, versus emotions are just physically something that your body has to express, right? And so like, when we're talking about like, making something happen in the body, like with anything that I do when I'm helping people with mobility, get out of pain, whatever, a lot of it's just like we're alchemizing energy, and we're doing that through movement, or we're doing that through whatever. What I learned at that humming thing is that with frequency, you can also do that, because there's like, any negative emotion in your body is going to like have a certain frequency that's, attached to it or whatever. And there's this frequency that you have to meet it with in order to like, alchemize that negative in you. Another thing that comes to mind too, because you're like singing in front of crowds, is like, it might not even be your energy that you're feeling. And I don't know if you've had that thought before.
I think about that all the time, especially
like
when
somebody in the room might need that fucking deepness in that note. You know what I mean?
Oh my God, yo. You know how many times I've played and performed music and people start crying?
For sure.
In front of me?
Yeah.
I'm like, damn. Like every once in a while it'll be awkward, but then like what I feel mostly is like a very empathetic energy where I almost start feeling like I'm going to get emotional.
Or you might feel like, what happens to me a lot is like I feel it in my body. Like I feel what other people feel. It's like, people say, oh, I'm an empath or whatever. It's like, I'm like,
yeah,
I don't know how to explain it, but I definitely feel what other people feel. And so as a coach, it's like, I have to, be aware of that so that I can
Especially
like be able to draw the line. And then like, I can also like, go and cleanse my energy when I'm done and know that it's like not my shit. And sometimes like I have to physically process it for the people. Like, so I might need to like fucking sit and cry and like.
That's true.
It's weird because it's like there's this awareness of like, I know it's not mine, but like it's still on me. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's what I was thinking about earlier. Like,
that's actually very crazy. Curious too. Like, yeah. So question for you on that, like it's incredibly understated that what you do as a coach is actually spiritual work in a lot of ways. And a lot of people don't want to have that discussion, but this physical thing that we see and then like physically feel is like a manifestation of, for lack of better words, our spiritual health. And I feel that when I was coaching, I was carrying around a lot of weight as well that was not mine, like you just said.
Yeah.
Because I'm also helping these people, for lack of better words, heal certain parts of themselves, and whether that be emotionally, psychologically, or spiritually.
Yeah.
So you as a coach are definitely carrying around a lot of people's energy, and you're definitely doing a healing work as well spiritually for these people.
Yeah.
What do you do? What do you do to like help yourself, I guess, draw that boundary? You said that, because that's definitely something I have a very hard time with.
Yeah. There's definitely like I don't do anything back to back. So so just kind of like backtracking a little bit when it comes to being a personal trainer, coach, whatever, like I genuinely do not think that anybody who's in that role long term, I don't think that you can really set a boundary of like not allowing emotional or spiritual stuff to like, I mean, you sat down with somebody who's like, trying to, talking to you about training, right? The first time, 99% of the time, that person had a health scare, that person lost somebody, that person's having something come up in their life. They got cheated on. A lot of the times they got cheated on, or there's something along those lines that's created an insecurity or whatever. Usually those are like these monumental things that get people to go hire a trainer. And so you can't really like, those things matter. Like I even though now I call myself a holistic health coach or a life coach or whatever, I was still a life coach like 10 years ago, you know what I mean? And so just the awareness that like, hey, like this is something that comes with the job. Nobody's really saying that, like in between sets, people are venting to you about what's going on in their life. Like you end up being their therapist and you end up hearing all these different, perspectives. So I think just the awareness that like, hey, this stuff that we're doing in between sets or whatever, like that is still coaching and it's still important. But just realizing that has made me realize that there needs to be like practices that I need to have in order to set boundaries, things like that when it comes to how much I let in. So like the basics before, it was like when I was like starting to realize this, it was like, okay, like making sure that I don't text back clients like past a certain time, whatever, like setting those boundaries. Now it's like just being like having gaps of time in between sessions, because I do like a lot of online coaching, right? And so like the thing is like for whatever reason, the people that I'm attracting now, a lot of the times too, they like, I resonate with something about their life, specifically something about their trauma is like very similar to something traumatic that's happened to me. And it almost feels like I'll work on it for myself. Like I'll go through like a really hard 6 months or a year of like working on my thing. And then once I start to get to this place of like, I found some solutions or some things, or I see some patterns, all of a sudden there's somebody that like signs up for coaching and they have that very similar trauma where I like physically don't think that I could like stomach those conversations had I not just done the work 6 months ago, which is and that's been happening for like at least 5 years of like, I do the work for myself, boom, 6 months later, client has the same exact issue,
That's
physically, emotionally,
though.
whatever. Yeah, it's like, I mean, it's so obvious that I'm in alignment when I start to see that stuff happen. So in between like sessions or in between calls or whatever, I always have like minimum like 20 minutes. There's never a time where I go back to back. And that's something that like during that time, I go and I foam roll, I do a meditation, or I jump around, play with the dogs, play a song, do something that kind of like shakes, like I'll do some sort of movement, like shakes. What's up?
Like a pattern interruption.
Yeah, for sure.
Thing.
Yeah. And
that's
I think
I used to do back to back a lot when I was a coach.
Yeah.
And that's a boundary I never drew. I would wonder how that would have affected me.
Yeah. And so like it's cool right now because I have like a good balance of like I coach classes in the morning and then I like will come home, or I'll have like maybe I'll have a client after class. I'll still have like at least 5 minutes. And then I'll come home and like usually be able to like go to the gym or something, or I'll usually, create it that way so that I can like go to the gym, move my body, get kind of more in my energy again so that I, am grounded in who I am. Things like going outside, getting sunlight, stuff like that. Just depends on the day. Like I feel like I'm pretty in tune with what I need for that given day. And then it's also like certain times, for example, like right now, I've had really consistent people for a few years to where it's like after 2 or 3 months working with somebody, a lot of times when people like reach out and they're hiring me right now, it's because they're having things like panic attacks. Sometimes I've had clients that are suicidal when they sign up. There's their energy is a little chaotic at the beginning. Usually there's like a lot going on. They're not able to like, that's why they're hiring me. So the first like month, the conversations with those people, like with every client pretty much, is like the energy, and I mirror them, you know, when I'm on the phone with them. And so like the energy is a lot like faster and higher. And so like right now I have like more new people like than usual, and so like that I have to be aware of that, of like, oh, why do I feel so like anxious? And it's like, oh, well, it's because I've been having conversations where people are like, that's where their energy's at. And so until I kind of start to slow down and like bring them to a place where like where I'm at,
introspective moment.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. So I think just in general too, like my habits, meditation, movement, I'm really aware of what my body feels like when it's really aligned, and then it's obvious to me when there's things that are influencing how that feels, right? Like I know what normal feels like, I know what center feels like. So then as soon as I start to drift, you know, obviously there's times where I like get really pulled in one direction, but as long as I'm taking care of myself and doing the things I have to do, then I'm very aware as soon as like something influences it. Right. So I'm able to kind of like bring like the pendulum swing back to like that balance, you know? Dang. But it definitely is like, I work with a lot of people who are like, I work with therapists, I work with other coaches, I work with like, you know, like light workers type people, you know? And so a lot of the chiropractors, I have to tell them to do those same things. And so it's also like, I do really well with like having to like lead by example. So because I work with so many of those people that are professionals and like they're dealing with that stuff, like I have to go like put myself through it to like find the solution. So I think that that's also the pressure of like having to, you know, practice what I preach. I think that's also like keeps me in check, you know?
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy interesting. I'm definitely relating to everything you said there. Because when you're going back to back like that, you do feel like the hard shift, you know, like you feel like that stark difference of energy changing.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And it's like, I think I'm like you with like, I'm almost like I'm kind of like a chameleon. Like if I'm in this setting, I'm going to like be this character. Like I code switch a lot, I guess. And so like even right now it's like I'm the media girl, but like at work I'm like the fucking coach, right? So like even like the tone of my voice and stuff, like the way that I talk will change, which is pretty crazy. And so I think too, like having at this point it's taken me some time to figure this out, but like figuring out where those limits are of like how much boring work can I handle a week, how much video, like having a good balance between all three, because I like my ADHD is like I need to be doing everything or I'm not doing anything. And so like having that like perfect like dose of like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think and if you're gonna go down that route of conversation, I'll talk about my personal experience with that, right? Like I also feel like if I'm not doing,
I'm supposed to be interviewing you, dude.
I mean,
I'm just kidding. It's just a talk. But no, yeah.
Whatever you want.
This is what I like. Like I wrote down like questions, but I was like, dude, we're just gonna like start talking, and I'm excited because like
vibing and chatting.
Yeah, we always like have like crazy,
great experiences and chats. But no, yo, I also feel the same way, yo. Like no matter what, check.
Yeah.
Check. Do I talk soft? I feel like I might talk soft.
Check this out. Check it out. Sing.
Say yeah.
Okay, yeah, sorry, the camera cut out. I don't know where it cut you off, but
I'll start from the jump. Yeah, just I was saying that similarly to you, it's funny, huh? I was just talking about 808. Similarly to you, I also feel like if I'm not doing all the things correctly, that I'm failing somehow, right? And an interesting, I guess, observation that I've made is, you know what? I think I might have posted about it on Threads actually recently. I said, you can be anything that you want, but you can't be everything that you want. And what I meant by that is kind of this conversation that we're having, right? Like if you're trying to really put up your content game, you're going to be putting a lot of energy into content. That means that certain other aspects of your life or business will suffer, you know? So if you're trying to, in my case, be better at songwriting, you're going to be great at songwriting for a little bit because you're focusing on that, but then it's going to divert your energy from maybe different parts of your business, like content creation, or maybe even like the songs that you're learning as far as like new songs and covers and things like that. If you want to be in a relationship, right now, this dives into more personal side of things. You have to be well aware of the fact that maybe your physical or like fitness, if you will, goals are going to be taking a hit. Why? Because maybe you're going to be going out on dates. Maybe you're going to be drinking alcohol. Maybe you're going to be not eating at home, like your meal preps. You're going to be eating, you know what I'm saying? Like little things have got to, and so that's the interesting point about this discussion is that we beat ourselves up, right? About not being 100% at everything. But the truth is we have to come to terms with the fact that if you're focusing on one particular aspect of your life, the other parts are going to have to be taken away from, if that makes any sense, you know?
Yeah. And I think that's like also like just finding that like, it's kind of like this in training of like that minimum effective dose of everything that's going to like create, it's like creating enough progressive overload when it comes to like your habits, I guess. So like,
example.
Yeah. So like, for example, like I think too, even though I totally agree with you what you're saying, like you can't do everything. I think even though it seems like I do everything right now, a few years ago, I was really trying to do way more stuff that like was unnecessary versus like right now, even though maybe to the average person, it seems like I am doing too much or doing too much different stuff. In some way for me, all of these things, I feel like my neurodivergent brain is my pattern recognition is like a huge thing. And so there's like something about, for example, right, like the audio editing that ends up teaching me something about how I coach, how I talk, how I communicate, how I, you know what I mean? It's like, it starts to like influence all these other areas. And so it's kind of like, I think I've nailed it down to like, I think it's okay to have like a few things, right? And obviously like this stuff, I've been doing content / like recording stuff, editing stuff since like middle school. Like I took like multimedia as like my elective. So like a lot of the foundational stuff is there, and so then I'm able to like build on it, but I have to be challenged and have like a full schedule in order to be productive. Like me being like creativity comes to me from like the movement of it, and so I feel like I constantly am like having this hard time between sometimes I'm doing everything, and then I'll have like periods of time where I'm just like hermit mode, just like totally quiet. But during that time, I'm like, there's still some productive thing that needs to happen.
There's something happening in those moments that is giving you, for lack of better words, like the energy and the inspiration
for sure
you might need for your next batch of like extreme creativity. Yeah.
And that's what's like really, I think, interesting about being an entrepreneur is that, or being a creative, I think in general, is that you have to kind of like switch your brain from this, like, it's like going from making an hourly wage to now making commission on something, like, right? Like technically like making your own, like being able to make money all the time whenever. You have to kind of like change the way that you look at what work is and what's productive. Because you know what I mean?
Distinction right there.
Yeah, like it's because it's weird because sometimes it feels like I'm not doing anything.
Right.
But again, it's like me going on a drive or something might like spark this like fucking idea, and so I'm constantly just like and also just kind of looking at things as like a project versus just trying to like get something up to get something up, you know? Right. And it's not gonna be as like instant gratification a lot of the times because it takes, you know, it's like more like a project. So like switching your mind to like project mindset and truly believing that that's gonna like do something. So at the end of the day, you have to make money, you have to survive, right? So yeah, there's like so many things that it's pretty crazy. So let's see. I wrote down another couple questions.
Some other questions.
We put up a not gonna lie link and nobody asked anything. I mean, people ask stuff like they're in like third grade. Exactly. Have you ever kissed a girl before?
Type shit.
Okay, so this is something that I think. So if you guys are watching this and you're not aware of who we are or don't know anything about us, we're currently in Tucson, Arizona. I grew up here, and it's not necessarily a small town. We definitely have a lot of people and a lot going on, but I think for people our age, I've always felt like this: you're either in college or you're retired here, you're like raising a family, and so like
That's a
that
great point.
in between, it's kind of hard to especially with social media and stuff, like creative stuff. Like I think people are starting to catch up now, but it's definitely not. There's like, we know everybody who's doing it, let's put it that way. Like there's like a handful of people that
Yeah.
are doing it, right?
And it's almost like it's brand new.
Yeah, and it's like years behind, right? And so for me, like
Correct.
that was actually like the scariest thing about moving home for me, was like I didn't want to go backwards. I lived in Nashville. I lived in like DC area on and off for like 4 years, and then Nashville, and then Houston. And in Houston, I was like, everybody was making content, which really helped me elevate. Like it was very obvious to me, that whole like you are who you surround yourself with. Like Houston was like obvious to me that I had this pressure, because every single person I was around was posting good content every single
Yeah.
every single day.
That's such a good word, the pressure word, yo.
Yeah, because like you're gonna feel like, damn, I'm a loser if I don't fucking like keep up with these people,
Correct.
right? And so like you just get and the standard is so much higher, right? So for me, moving home was really difficult to like that was scary for me, right? And so I think you're someone who's like really helped keep me in that space, honestly. Like even
yeah.
whenever we're not hanging out, like I see, like I see you posting, I see you
Right.
do it, like I see
Thank
you put in
you.
the work.
You too, though. Inspiring.
Yeah, and it's like we feed off of that, right? Because
Correct.
again, there's not a ton of us. And so I wrote down earlier, I was thinking about this, something that I think that you do is that
yeah.
you create you created probably like a virtual, you know how like you are the 5 people that you surround yourself with.
Yeah.
Would you say that you have like a virtual community that you're a part of every day, that's like, even though you're still part of Tucson and stuff like that, I
Right.
think, you know, like, would you say that that's how you look at it? 'Cause that's how I look at it. I have like my
Yeah,
virtual
I would
people.
say I've never thought about it that way, but I definitely have a group of people that when that online, I'm like, damn, like they keep me,
Yeah.
not that they know, but they keep me accountable, even though they might not know.
Mhm.
You know, I would say I've definitely like slid in your DMs about your content pieces often.
Yeah.
I've been like, damn, this looks fire, and I've told you that it's inspiring or motivating in the past. I feel like my should I name off some people that I think of?
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, okay, bet.
Yeah.
As far as like locally here in Tucson, like definitely also Walters the Don. He does a
Yeah.
phenomenal job. Especially like in the local scene as it pertains to like music and the arts.
Yeah.
Funny enough, although it's not local, I feel like one of my biggest inspirations is my best friend Martin.
I knew you were
'cause
gonna say that.
Martin,
Like I literally knew that. Like that's what I was thinking about when I'm like, dude, like
crushes,
he does crush it. I follow him actually.
Yeah, he fucking crushes with content to the point
yeah.
where he's had a lot of doors open up for him because
For
they stay
sure.
on top of that, you know.
Yeah.
Who else do I think of? I even though I don't necessarily relate to the demographic whatsoever, funny enough, I do feel pressure, right, to produce more when I see how frequently my vanity posts.
Yeah.
For sure. She is on top of her shit.
Yeah.
With posting, and I've seen her growth in I guess in
Quick,
first
yeah.
person. Yeah. So I was like, damn, that's something that's also it applies pressure, even though it's not necessarily I don't do fucking makeup on myself.
Yeah,
you know
I've known
what
her
I'm saying?
forever, and like it's crazy because like years ago it was like this kind of similar conversation to you, like the DMs. I was like, hey, you need to like make content,
Yeah.
like way, you know what I mean? And it's cool to see that people in Tucson are starting to just realize that, right? Like that's something that even though like being here is like slower pace of
The funny
life,
thing
stuff
is,
like that.
quite frankly, because my vanity, I feel like she started doing the whole content thing even after I was already going with my content.
Yeah, she just
And
blasted that shit. Yeah,
She did, yo.
yeah, for sure.
And her growth has been amazing. But like, when I started doing content, if I'm being entirely honest with you, I don't feel like locally I had anybody that was really putting pressure on me because I didn't notice it.
Mm-hmm.
And it was something that I started doing because A, I got out of my relationship with Sydney,
Mm-hmm.
and B, Martin was beating it over my head for like 5 years.
To make content.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until I started making content that I started looking at things through a different lens. You know what I'm saying? Where suddenly I could see like the content that you were making, for example, or the content
You
that
start to like
Walters
notice
was making.
how much
and
effort
then
people
be
are
like,
putting into
oh,
it. Yeah,
shit, this is
Yeah.
the thing.
yeah,
Yeah. And without a single doubt, I've grown a lot as an artist because of the fact that I've been on top of my content.
Yeah.
And people don't realize that. It's not only because of like the creative direction aspect and like the editing and the framing and color grading it. Yeah, you learn all of that creative side of things, you know, like the producing of content, if you will. But not only that, what I'm referring to is literally people are paying attention.
Yeah.
And you don't realize it, but people are paying attention to how much effort you put into this
For
thing.
sure. Yeah.
And that gets you opportunities without a single doubt.
Yeah.
That gets you opportunities. People talk about you in certain types of ways, you know, whether it be good or bad, they're still talking about
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. Well, it's like exposure to the max. You're like
Correct.
putting it out there and you're staying top of mind, and it's like it gets all those things across like without you having to say them, right? Like it's like, oh, Eric's posted a video every single day this week, and it's like anybody who sees that is gonna like see your work ethic, or anybody who can appreciate those things, right? Like, oh, there's work ethic there. And then anybody who knows anything, like anybody who's tried to record a video themselves or edit a video themselves, is gonna be like, damn, that's difficult to do.
Yeah,
It takes a
until
long
you have
time,
people like, oh, I'm trying to do what you're doing type shit.
Exactly. And
it's
that's
like,
like a good
damn, I
feeling,
didn't even know that people were noticing type shit. You know, you start to feel, because unfortunately you get caught up in vanity metrics, you know, like how many views did this get, how many likes, how many comments, how many shares.
For sure. Do you feel like you're still in that, like, does that still get in your head right now at this stage?
I feel like now more than when I dropped my latest single, Paque, I was definitely a little bit tied up in the vanity metrics, and I wanted as many views as possible. I love my rollout strategy for that song. I think it was fucking phenomenal. I had so much fun doing it.
Yeah.
I'm excited for my next single so that I can do it even better, or at least do it differently as far as like the creative direction goes. I really am loving the storytelling side of things. Obviously, as a singer-songwriter, my content strategy is different than basically everyone that we've been talking about here, and especially you and me sitting on this couch, you know?
Yeah.
Because, it's just like you're obviously a coach and I'm an artist. So I'm trying to get people to consume my art, but without realizing that they're consuming it.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, I'm trying to sell them something without them realizing that I'm selling them something.
Yeah.
So to do that, you have to like evoke emotion through a story.
Yeah.
But all that to say, I feel like I got caught up in the vanity metrics for a while. Over time, I've less and less and less given a fuck about vanity metrics. I did care about the rollout because I wanted as many people to see it as possible. And if I'm being honest, I'm very happy with the way it went.
Yeah.
Even though the like the rollout strategy, I feel like as far as the pieces of content that were dedicated to drive traffic to my song, I think the most I ever got was like a 13K view on one of those reels.
On one of the song videos?
Yeah, but I'm super happy and proud with that metric, even though it's not like the 100,000 that I got on like a fucking Teddy Swims thing that I did, right? But even coming out of the release strategy for Paque, which is the name of the single, I feel like now I give way less of a fuck about vanity metrics, because now the current I guess like content rollout that I am having, the current campaign that I'm on right now, is putting out acoustic covers, which I'm sure you've seen them, right? Like I have the Lose Control by Teddy Swims, the Get You by Daniel Caesar, Es Por Ti by Juanes, and I have like probably 8 more songs that I'm going to be dropping weekly. I'm giving less of a fuck about vanity metrics because I realized that this season of my content strategy is not necessarily dedicated to driving a massive amount of views. It's dedicated to building my brand, if that makes sense. Like I used to have so many videos on my page that were just brain rock type content, you know? I recently posted one by accident because I was fucking around with trial reels, which was when she wants to support your dreams and I'm just trying to enjoy your presence. Like have you remember that?
I don't know if I remember.
She said she wanted to SMD.
Oh, yeah.
And I wrote support my dreams.
Yeah.
So I told her I wanted to EYP.
Yeah.
Enjoy your presence, you know?
That's fine.
that shit went super viral, but that's like a throwaway reel. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like that's like brain rot shit. I
Yeah.
did brain rot content for like, am I ranting right now?
No.
Okay, cool.
What the fuck? I mean, yeah, maybe. I don't fucking care. You think it's I'm like adjusting? You're like in your head.
I'm all paranoid. No, I did brain rot content for like a solid 6 months.
Yeah.
Every fucking day.
And it makes you have
And
it makes it brain rot for you, bro.
And then you get caught up in vanity measures.
Yeah.
Oh, I did 100,000. I did
Yeah.
400,000.
Well, then, and the people who follow you, like people that are like finding your page because of that, like is because they're following you because of the brain rot. So it's
Correct.
like
They're
then they
not-
want that.
So it hit me. It hit me. I'm like, none of this shit is converting to Erick the singer-songwriter, Erick the artist. It's Erick the content creator.
For sure, yeah.
And guess what? I don't give a fuck about content creating.
Mm-hmm.
I give a fuck about creating art. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So there's got to be there's an overlap, right? Where the Venn diagram meets,
Mm-hmm.
where
Love a Venn diagram moment.
yeah, right?
Yeah.
Where you kind of marry the two subjects. And I feel like the content release strategy, the pre-release strategy of content for my latest single was like the perfect overlap. What I'm doing right now is very obviously, I think, building more my YouTube algorithm than anything else, and also building the brand of Erick the singer.
Mm-hmm.
The experience that people have of me as an artist when they come to one of my gigs here locally has always been super fucking different to the experience that you get if you land on my Instagram page.
Sure.
My goal was to be like, okay, I need these two concepts to be married.
That's always, dude, that's like such a hard thing to do. It's insane.
Yeah. So there was no content like what you experienced of me in person.
Yeah.
So I needed to do this live acoustic cover series so people can be like, oh, this guy can fucking sing and play guitar.
Yeah. It's crazy because that's like for across the board, right? Like I have so many friends that are in music. I also have trained tons of people that are in the music industry. And I have a client, Peyton Sullivan. She's a country singer, and she was on The Voice, and she lives in Hawaii. And so she is like starting this like kind of like Hawaiian country like vibe of
They
her
love
own.
country in Hawaii, by the way.
Yeah, it's crazy, and she's like amazing. And but we were talking about content. This is like a few months ago. We were talking about content, and she was like, I know what I need to do. Like I literally just need to post videos of me singing covers. Like that's what gets people on my page. And then there's all this other stuff, right? So there's like this, like with the strategy, it's like putting enough of that to where there's intention behind, hey, this is the post that I'm trying to like, I want it to be shareable. I want people to, post it on their story,
if
whatever.
it's a video of just you singing, it'll get engagement.
Yeah.
It'll probably get way more engagement than like a brain rotting video in the sense of like comments and reshares.
Yeah.
But the views doesn't translate. For some reason, I've gotten way less views on these covers than I've gotten on like some dumbass video that has like some insane visual hook or text hook that has nothing to do with my art.
Yeah.
People don't comment on those videos.
And they're like also like a lot quicker. It's like so easy like to just and move on.
Correct.
This kind of like relates to this question I had earlier about, we're talking about like how you have to do all these different things, right, to like keep up with your profession. And I think something that people don't realize that you have to think about specifically in our professions as a coach or as a performer, I would say right now, like that's how you make your money, even though you're a singer-songwriter, like performing is how you make the money, is like, how do I scale this shit? How do I create? What happens if I get sick? What happens if I lose my voice? What happens if, right? So it's like, that's a thing that, especially right now, I think it's been a thing, but right now, at this like phase of my life or whatever, of my career, that's like top of mind. So like, for example, like making this podcast, it's like, yo, if I can just make a really good video and put it out there and like duplicate my energy duplicate myself on a video, like that's really the only way I can scale right now, is to put something that lives forever out there.
Correct.
And at the end of the day,
that reframe, by the way, that hit home for me right now.
Good.
Hard.
Yeah. Cause that's what you're doing, right? Like you're like, I would always think about this. Like I'd be like drained after I
shit that I know,
Yeah. But it's just like sometimes like hearing it a certain way, it's like,
correct. Hearing it a certain way, really, that reframe is like, because this is how I feel, right? You just said, if I get sick, I can't perform.
Yeah.
I'm shit out of luck. Also, I have a flat rate that I charge, and I have X amount of hours a week
that you can
I
do
can
it.
sing.
Yeah.
You know, even if I sang every fucking day of the week,
Mm-hmm.
there's a limit to like what my vocal budget is, meaning my voice will eventually get tired and I will need to rest.
Yeah.
And there's only so many hours in a day,
Mm-hmm.
right? So how do you scale that? I always come back to, and this is something that talking about beating myself up type shit. I always come back to essentially, I'm focusing a lot on gigs. I'm always busy. I'm focusing a lot on marketing myself with content creation. What I beat myself up the most about, and now that we're talking about it, it's making even more and more sense to me actually. Especially with that reframe, is writing and producing.
Mm.
Writing and producing. I need to be writing and producing more. But as soon as I write and produce more, those parts of my business get neglected.
Mm-hmm.
However, those parts of my business is what makes me money.
Yeah.
Writing and producing right now, I've made money from writing and producing, but if we're looking at it from a business standpoint, it's probably net negative with how much I'm actually putting into it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, for sure. There's one of my first jobs.
But to your point, if I can just finish this, to your point, that's the only way to scale.
That's like the only way you can
The
do it,
only way to scale is if I continue to write and produce and release.
Mm-hmm.
Because then look at like the whole Rust strategy. You know what I'm saying?
I was gonna bring him up. That's crazy. So one of my first jobs, I like worked for this guy, and he would always like pull us into the office and like talk to us, like it was like this motivational speech for like an hour. And I'd always get like fucking annoyed when I was sitting there. This is like
just
a long time ago.
Out speech or something.
No, dead ass. Like he literally would be like, "Tony, come here," and
just came out of the bathroom.
Yeah, no, like dead ass. Like that's exactly what was going on. And I would always be like, "Dude, this dude's so fucking." Like I'd be like dissociating in the middle of our conversation. Sometimes he'd like break down like, "This is how many hours are in a day. This is how many days are in the fuck." Like he'd like be like, "This is how many hours you have in the next 10 years to like." But there was one thing that he would say to me all the time, and it stays.
The whole time.
Yeah, pretty much. He was totally coked out for sure. He would always say preparation plus opportunity equals success. Yes. And that's, to me, it's like, hey, like you have to just trust your gut as an entrepreneur, creating your own schedule, doing all these things, just trying to like throw stuff out there, see what hits. Like you have to follow these like energetic, like it's like, it's kind of like, for girls it's like this, right? Like if they switch up their training to their cycle of like their right. female cycle,
right,
that there's certain like energy that you have at certain weeks of the month, right, in order like that are going to be beneficial to you. So sometimes you have this like really like, sometimes I can go to the gym,
correct,
and be like really fucking strong, and then the next week I need to just do mobility work all week because that's what I need, right? It's kind of like the same like this, like finding those like kind of like, hey, like what energy do I have today, this week? And I'm just going to use whatever I have today in whatever area needs to be used, because the thing is like, again, you said like people are looking at your stuff, you don't even realize that they're looking at it, right? So like as far as like producing or writing, all that kind of stuff, like all of the work that you're putting in right now, performing, making the money, like creating that stability, you're also practicing your craft at the same time. Like you're singing, you're practicing singing, you're practicing your voice.
Correct. Yeah.
That's preparation, right? Like you're still preparing yourself.
I think about that all the time, by the way.
And then it's like, I think that there's also, when it comes to like, once you start to get into all the like spiritual manifesting, quantum physics type stuff, time drops out of the pictures. There's time is like literally not relevant, because I got the chills too saying that, like time is not a thing, right? And so the speed of which things happen is like, you might think, oh, I have to do this for 5 years and it's like, dude, once you start to manifest, that shit happens instantly. Yeah. And so the thing is like, you just have to be aligned in order to make it happen. And so as far as the writing or the producing, it's like, dude, all the work you're putting in right now, there's going to be one day in the shower and it's going to happen like that. And it's like, that's not going to be hard for you to do. It's not going to be like, obviously like there's the skill set that you have to practice, whatever. But like, as far as like the idea of the song, all of that's going to come in a moment, but it's because of all the other stuff that's happened. Correct. And then as soon as that, like that alignment is there, next thing you know, hey, I came across your page. I'm a freaking label, or I'm like, whatever, right? Like whatever the opportunity is now ready for you. And it's like, because of all those other hours that you put in just preparing. preparation plus the opportunity is going to come, but if you're not prepared for it, that's where the alignment's off. So like I do think that you putting yourself, like the whole Russ thing, like you were saying too, like something that he says all the time, I freaking love Russ, something that he says all the time is like he has a lot of songs, I think this happened with like Breathe, but like he has songs that blow up and go like platinum or whatever like years after he posted them, and that's something that keeps me really like, damn, like that's like you just have to keep creating and putting in the work, and like you really don't know, like if something, there could be something like that blows up today that makes people go look at your old videos and then gets another video to blow up, and it's
that's
like,
very true. That's actually a point.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I've not particularly thought about it from that point of view, even though I have heard him specifically say that. But yeah, especially with the day and age and how things work with like I guess algorithmically, or even with like viral sounds and shit like that, you never know what's gonna re-chart onto like the Billboard Hot 100 just because someone else brought it up, you know?
Yeah, and I think there's also too like when it comes to social media and like we're going back to like looking at the metrics too much and stuff like that. In quantum physics, like I'm really into like nerdy shit like that, right? But in quantum physics, there's a concept called the observer effect, and you've heard of this before. So like basically, the moment that you observe something,
double slit theory.
What's double slit theory?
You never heard of?
I don't think I have. So
it's the observer effect.
It's like that.
Yeah, like as soon as the electron is observed,
it
changes form.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So like
you're saying
basically like everything is constantly in movement is the way that it makes sense in my head. And so the moment that you focus on something, then you make it still because you're observing it, and so you stop it in a way, right? So in reality, you can never truly observe what's actually happening because you're like creating this,
observer effect.
Yeah, exactly. And so like when it comes to looking at like instantly looking at your likes, your comments or whatever, like you could have a video that blows up, whether it's that day or way later, but if you're observing it from a perspective of it's not doing good, it's not doing as good as every other video I posted in the first 30 minutes, whatever the case might be, then you're making it like you're kind of creating this like stopping point in the timeline, right? Like you're kind of stopping time for a second, and so then you're kind of creating that reality because that's what you're seeing and what you're doing. And so if you are getting stuck in that mindset, especially if it's early on, like I always think about that, like, am I actually making it do bad? Right? Like,
that's a very trippy thought to have.
It's a very trippy thought, but it's like,
very trippy thought to have.
I don't know.
Because the idea, this is why it's trippy to me, because the question then becomes how like subconsciously am I having those particular thoughts? Because we don't post anything thinking that it's gonna do poorly. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We're always like wishing for and hoping for the best, but maybe we've already, like, for lack of better words, like,
it's, I mean, the answer is it's fucking deeply subconscious.
Correct.
Like it's like
that's the point I'm getting.
That's always the answer. So is that it just keeps, it's like deeper. How do
you get that deep,
I mean, I think that it's like, I think just having awareness, is something that I always tell the real estate team that I work with, or I've said this to like any client that I have that is in sales, noticing the space of like, from the moment a lead comes in, right? Like let's say they're like not working a lot of leads and it's like all of a sudden they get a lead, right? How quickly do you start to worry about it not going through? You know what I mean?
Right.
Like let's say like today I don't have a lead and then somebody DMs me on Instagram and they're asking me about coaching and they're asking a couple questions back and forth or something. How quickly did they go from a really exciting, oh, I got a new lead, to now I'm worried that it's not going to close?
God damn.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that space, from like how fast is that happening? And if I can like have a moment of like awareness that I'm like, yo, I'm tripping about something that didn't exist 30 minutes ago. Like if I can catch myself in that awareness, which is so hard to do, I could say it a million times right now and I could be so aware of it. But once I'm in it,
of course,
then I'm like tripping, right? So like how quickly am I letting it be something that's a negative thing, that if it doesn't go through, you know what I'm saying? Like if this doesn't work, then, so when you post, noticing that, right? Like how quickly
it would appear as though
it would appear as though
it would appear as though before the content piece has even been created, you already have to be thinking that it's going to be a 1 million view piece. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, I think that there's like there's definitely some
in the case of the example of content creation.
Yeah. personally for me, and this is like I go back and forth whether this is like a good or right now where I'm at with content creation is I don't it doesn't cross my mind how well it's gonna do anymore, which is crazy to say. There's no physical effect that I get from lower views. There's no like, yeah, I for sure will like check, hey, how it's doing, how many likes I'm getting, whatever. But I don't even know when I got to this point. I think honestly, like Alpha Land changed a lot of things. My perspective on stuff, it really changed because I'm aware that things can happen like this. And I've had enough days. I've had like maybe 3 or 4 days where my following jumps like a good amount, right? Like, so right. It's like 200 plus followers in a day. To once you start to see it come in, it kind of makes things more real to you of like, oh, something just needs to hit. And so for me, it's like, I also kind of going back to like the whole like scaling, right? When I say scaling, I don't also, yeah, for sure, money and business and all that kind of stuff is a thing. But for me, it's like a lot of the stuff that I'm doing, I think for you, it's your art too. So you feel this way. Like, I think about it, like if I die tomorrow, like how am I, like, there's one thing of like, I taught somebody something that they now can go teach other people. But if there's like a video of me, like if somebody can feel me and like experience me through a video and like can hear it from me when I'm not here, like that's like before I used to be like, I don't know what I want my legacy to be. Like now it's like, damn, like that's like the only way for me to like leave something that like really truly lasts, I guess.
Yeah.
And so for me, like it's like I'm kind of like, which is really cool. I'm at a place to where I am really being more like following this like inner, like I just have to make this piece of content, right? That there's like a purposeful like pull towards, and if there's not, then it doesn't do very well. If I do it because I need to put something up or I'm trying to get attention or I'm acting out of ego, it's like, that's the stuff that doesn't do good. It's only so whenever I like notice something and like something's speaking to me or like whatever that I just like feel like I have to put it out there. Because if I was overthinking about the content that I'm posting, like I'd be overthinking all the fucking time, bro. Like, you know, because I'm putting myself out there a lot. Yeah, like,
that kind of raises awareness to that particular spidey sense that you're talking about of like,
yeah, exactly.
I have to put this out here. I have to put this out there.
Mm-hmm.
That reflect that like I guess that reflex, if you will. Maybe I should pay attention to that some more because, for example, like the acoustic series that I put out is not something that I felt particularly passionate about. But it felt like something that I don't know, that I was, for lack of better words, that I was being like called to do, or that people were expecting me to do, or that also felt like kind of like a roadmap of sorts, or like a blueprint to getting I guess noticed more, if you will, as like a singer.
Mm-hmm.
But over the course of the last, like I said, like I didn't get into like daily content creation, for lack of better words, until like I had to stop saying for lack of better words. But until my breakup like a year and a half ago, I didn't get super into content creation, and I feel like off the rip, I was like, I do not want to be the guy that makes covers.
Yeah, I think that's just like that's kind of like your ego talking too, you know. It's crazy.
Absolutely.
Like in Nashville, like it's like every person I would meet in Nashville like moved there to make it in music. Nine,
of course,
like,
yeah, it's
almost
the
everybody.
songwriting
That's
capital
exactly like
country.
There's a lot of people that sing, but there's way more people that write songs. Everybody writes songs. There's like 6 writers per song on stuff, right? And so like,
of course, yeah. Look at your song credits on every single Spotify.
And I know a lot of those people, which is pretty cool. And like, it's cool because like those people don't even give a shit about like being known. They like just writing the song. I lost my freaking train of thought.
My bad. Everyone goes to Nashville to songwrite. Everyone goes there to pursue music.
Yeah. Oh, they all do that, right? And so like everybody does that, but at the end of the day, like the only way people can make money in music, truly, when they're, because everybody's doing that, everybody's moving there to the same thing, is if you go and you sing covers at a bar on Broadway. That's how anybody makes that. That's how anybody like, you know, gets noticed. And I'm a big believer that like exposure, like anything that you're trying to make it in, exposure should be like a really big focus early on. Like I'm able to like chill, I guess, more, even though I'm still actively trying to be putting myself out there and get more exposure. But I feel like at this point, it's like I focused a lot on that, where I was doing more things like getting involved with other businesses or like, you know, trying to be like on marketing for stuff or like I was on a billboard, I was on all of these ads and stuff like that. Like all that stuff definitely helped me get noticed, get the exposure to then like I was able to leverage that to go to Alpha Land. And like now that I have all that stuff, it's like kind of like I don't really, even though like, again, I'm actively always trying to like get exposure, I think that that should be a focus like early on, because it just opens up the doors for more opportunity. And then you start to like just learn a lot about yourself of like what is, because then you start to realize like, oh, I do care about what I'm known for. I do care about what my brand is. I do care about, you know?
Yeah, I think about that a lot as it pertains to like the gigs, right? Like I'm not particularly passionate about. I mean, I'm blessed and I love and I'm very grateful that I can go out and sing, right? But like doing the covers is not the dream.
For
right?
sure, yeah.
The dream is to be the artist, right?
Yeah.
The singer, the songwriter, if you will. So the point I'm trying to get at here is it hasn't been lost on me. It has not been lost on me that all this exposure, all these years, because I have been doing, I don't know, between 4 and 8 gigs every single week.
Dude, you're like
for 3
on
years.
It's crazy.
For 3 years. Yeah. So I am very well aware that this is massive compounding effect, not only for my exposure, but for my experience as a performer as well. Like to the point where like I don't really lose my voice anymore unless I'm like out clubbing and yelling my head off like a motherfucker. But
yeah. So today, and if anybody follows me on Instagram, like once or twice a year, I'll do this challenge with my friends of like doing like 400 meters consecutive of walking lunges and so it's like 15 minutes or something. And anyway, I was doing them today. I'm like working back up to the 15 minutes is like the third day, because like you get really sore the first few days. And I was doing them earlier today, and I was just thinking about like how it's just pretty crazy. Like every time I do them, like how fast your body adapts. Like it's just wild to me. And as I was doing them, I was like, damn, like this many lunges, even though I'm working up to this like a crazy amount, if I had any of my clients do this many, they'd be like dying right now.
Yeah.
Like they'd have so much blood and so much, like their muscles would be so full that they'd be like kind of like getting a pump to where it's like kind of feels like it's tearing a little bit. And so as I was doing them, I was just like, damn, like that's pretty nuts. And then I use this app on my phone to check like my like my HRV, like my like that kind of stuff. And I'm always like my heart health is always like good. There's also like this thing that kind of like measures like how you're like how you handle stress, and it's like I'm always good there. And I was just thinking about like, damn, like it's just because I've like realistically like nobody has to like there's times where I don't feel as motivated to go to the gym, whatever.
Right.
But like in reality, it's like it's not that I have to. It's just that it's like I know that it's like a foundational thing that is going to make every other like it's just like so like part of who I am at this point.
I feel the same way.
Yeah, that it's just kind of like I'm like, dude, okay, it's kind of like easier. So what I wrote down earlier is like it doesn't
almost. It's like a default.
A default. It's a non-negotiable. It's like
a non-negotiable.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And I wrote it doesn't get easier, you get better, right? And it's like because you get better, it gets a lot easier. And so I think that that's also the thing too. Is like you're tuning your voice. Like you have to put in the amount of hours. Dude, I coached so many classes of so many people in front of me, back to back, no break for a long time. I ran other facilities for a long time, right? I put in the hours. I apprenticed for a videographer for years. And I think I forget because it's just kind of like I fill my time with that kind of stuff.
Right.
But now when I can do all this stuff, it's because there's this kind of like layer of like it's like, yes, again, I can like progressive overload it a little bit, right? With like little like things make it harder for myself. But there's this like foundation that I've built that has like, it's because of that I'm able to continue to progress. And I think that that's what you're doing right now with music. It's like you are creating like this, like, you know, like tuning a guitar, like you're creating this like almost like a base layer of a tune with your voice that like now it's like, yeah, there's going to be days where you have to like, you know, work, you know, however that is for you, practice to get to a certain point, whatever. But like you've built this like foundation to work off of. And I truly think that only comes from the repetition of doing it.
Yeah.
And performing too. I think like right now you're getting comfortable performing.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. it's just so funny to me. Like I think about that a lot reflexively. How like doesn't matter how big the crowd is in front of me, I always feel like I'm supposed to be there. I
Mm.
feel very comfortable in like the performing
Yeah.
to the point where like if I fuck up, I could even make something great out of the fuck up, and like
Yeah.
no one even
Yeah.
notices what happened.
When I stumble, it's just part of the dance.
Type shit.
Yeah.
Type
Yeah. The
shit.
wrestling. Yeah.
Type
That's literally
shit.
for sure.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't. It's not lost on me that all these years, man, have really paid off as it pertains to experience.
Yeah. There was a video a couple days ago. People were like, you were singing on the street, pretty much.
Oh
like,
yeah,
outside somewhere. People were posting videos of you, and you were just like doing your thing.
Yeah.
So another like the last thing that I wrote on here is, do you find yourself in flow when you sing? And I totally think that I know the answer to that, obviously,
Yeah.
but because when I was watching you sing the other night, I can see that. Like, and I feel like for me, like I find that when I'm coaching a big class, it's like I tap in. I'm just like such a better coach for some reason when it's like a bigger
Wow.
event or something. It's like the craziest thing. And it's not that like everything disappears, but like whatever I feel, like I could see that look in your eyes, and then I also could see it when people are posting videos of you singing. And I was like, yeah, like you're just like in your flow,
Correct.
right? What does that feel
Yeah.
like for you?
Honestly, man, it feels like meditation is what it
Yeah,
feels
for
like.
sure.
It feels like meditation whenever and that's why, going back to the beginning of this pod, like that's why I said like if I have to sing, I know that everything's going to be okay. Like I know that I'm going to feel so much better.
Mm.
If I'm having a shitty day when it's time to sing, I'm like, thank God, because
You have to
now
be
I
really
get to-
present. You have to like you can't not be present.
Yo, for
You literally
real.
can't not be present.
You even
Yeah.
have to focus on
Yeah.
your breathing. You know
For
what I'm
sure.
saying? Like, there's so many things that are going on that makes you be so present.
Yeah.
But on the flip side of that coin, it's so funny that we just said that you have to be super present, but it also has become so much of a flow state
Mm.
that
You can be like doing multiple things at the same time.
I'm literally singing and playing guitar,
Mm.
and I can literally be thinking about a song that I'm writing and like, oh, this is what I should put in the bridge.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or I could literally be like thinking about, oh fuck, I forgot to get this from the grocery store
Yeah.
last. Like,
That happens with everything though. Once it becomes like
once it becomes that flow
habit.
state,
Yeah.
like you can literally be to the point
Mhm.
where I'm like, I get to the end of the song and I'm like, wait, the fuck,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
song is done.
That happens to me like in classes, and it's always like in the back of my head, I'm always kind of like noticing people's reactions too, to see like if they can tell that what I'm, because sometimes I like will do something, I'm like, damn, I'm
Right.
kind of impressed with the fuck. Because like, dude, I'll literally be like coaching a class, and like I'm like aware of like the music. Like when I'm coaching
Yeah.
a class, it's like there's so many different aspects of it. It's kind of like I've always looked at it as
Yeah,
a performance.
For sure, absolutely.
There's the music aspect of it, right? There's what I'm saying. There's how I am, depending on who's in front of me, how I'm breaking things down, the details that I'm including in those. And then I'll be like walking around, right? Like looking at people's form and stuff. And I think to them, they think like, oh, Tanya's zoned out, or Tanya's like thinking about something else. And then like they'll finish their set, and I'm like, hey, like, can you move like your right foot
Right.
like over like 35 degrees? Like, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I'm like such a detailed thing where it's like I can tell that people don't realize that I'm analyzing as much. And it's like sometimes I'll think about it later and be like, am I like when that's happening, am I analyzing everything? And it's truly like, it sounds like so like woo or whatever. It's like a God flow, right? Like when I'm tapped
Badass.
in, or if I'm on a coaching call and or sometimes I'm even just talking to camera, something just like, sometimes I'm just saying stuff that I'm like, dude, like I'm hearing it at the same exact time that you're hearing it. Like this isn't me talking right now. And there's this like
Yeah.
tone. This is something that I'm curious about with
Fucking
you.
Ouija boarding is what I call it, bro.
It's fucking crazy. But there's like, it's just like, oh, it gives me the chills to think
I
about it.
call
It's just
Ouija.
like,
yeah.
I don't even know. So like,
Not that I've ever done a Ouija board, by the way, but
yeah.
like,
But
it's
yeah,
literally-
yeah, you know that something else is moving you. Like you know that. Like you're the puppet
It's
and your
so
fucking arms are
weird,
moving. I
yo.
totally agree.
It's
Um,
so weird.
There's so like with coaching, I would say one of the main, especially as like a holistic life coach, because I do a lot of like, you know, FaceTimes or sometimes phone calls. The number one way that I know how to like where to lead our call, what's important to talk about today or whatever, is based off of the tone in someone's voice. Like the the
This is a voice
shakiness of
call?
huh.
Is it voice? You said a call?
It'll be a FaceTime most of the time,
FaceTime,
but
okay.
a lot of the times, like they're driving or something, they'll call me. Like I could just always tell by the voice, like specifically, even if it's a video. Even if I'm looking at somebody, I can hear there's like the vibration within their voice is how I can tell hey, something's off today, what's going on? And I'll just like, yeah, I could hear it in your voice, right?
Yeah.
But the same thing for me is if I'm like aligned, my voice sounds different and clear. There's less filler words. There's this like different voice that I have whenever things are aligned and things are in flow. And I could just, it's just such an obvious thing to me. And I'll even tell my clients, because sometimes I can hear that they're like, shit, Tanya just said something, like I'll like blow their mind. And then I'm like, dude, I fucking did my habits today and I'm tapped. Like I'm not, I know I'm just as shook as you are because I know that I'm not the one saying this. You know what I mean? It's like, it's nuts. And I feel like that happens with us too. Like I'll say something and you're like, dude, fuck, Tanya, like, you just like, made something click. And it's because I'm just following whatever the signs. And a lot of the times I make I say an example that's like, if I would have sat there and overthought that example, I would have never said it. I'll make like a fucking SpongeBob reference.
Right.
And it like, you know what I mean? But it's because I just like let it happen. And that's the stuff that actually hits. And so even, like even with content too, like, I see myself being much more of a movie director. Actually, that's like my biggest dream is to be a director of some sort. Yeah, like music videos, I think that'd be pretty cool too. Storytelling, I'm really trying to get more into storytelling. Like whenever I feel inspired, I'll like write like I have like a screenplay of like my own life. My life's been pretty crazy. And I'll like write out like just like a scene of like how I would, like in my head, it's like a lesson that I've learned. It's like I'll like,
like a skit, like a scene.
Yeah, but like I think like long like I think that this is gonna happen for sure at some point. I think I will eventually make some sort of like movie about my life.
That's awesome.
Because there's like just so many crazy things. Like I always kind of picture it as like a Forrest Gump sort of vibe of a movie, right? Like it's like kind of like how one thing led to the next thing and the next thing and the next thing, and just how like that I followed like literally the fucking feather, bro, on it. Oh my god, just like literally it's like just how I followed that white rabbit or whatever, and how that led to the next thing or whatever. But yeah, dude, repetition is definitely like what, even like with a kettlebell flow, right? Like with a kettlebell, it's like, it's because I've done it that many times that you find that kind of like dance within it. So it's, and on all that stuff, I think for me, like connects in my mind of like how that, Yeah.
It's funny you should say that. I just very, very, very recently started keeping an account of like banner moments in my life that were just like the one we were talking about earlier, for example. That particular instance, it made me be like, you know what? I'm gonna keep an
like
account,
track the
of things
dude.
like this that happened in my life that feel like spiritual alignment. You know?
Well, it's because like in those moments, like there's nothing that could convince you. If you are someone who's like, trying to, notice more signs in your life and stuff like that.
Correct.
I think the biggest thing that makes it a sign a lot of times when you're like looking for them, they just don't hit. Like that happens to me if I'm looking for a sign and I see, an angel number or something, like it's a feeling that I get that makes it a sign or not a sign, right? And so like there's these moments where you were just talking to God in your head, or you were asking a question to yourself or whatever, and then something out of nowhere, like you couldn't have like made that shit up, right? Like whenever that shit happens, catches you off guard, and you feel that kind of like overwhelming, like when you have like a dark cloud over your head that's like makes you feel like depressed. It's almost like this gratitude cloud that comes over you.
Shit, that's a good way to put it.
When you start to notice those, you're like, oh shit, like there's something there, and follow that feeling. Like if it feels good, follow it, and you'll start to notice that you get more of those moments, but you have to like acknowledge them. Nothing's a coincidence, especially if it makes you feel something. Don't let it just like, go by. Like acknowledge, like, what are the fucking chances of that?
Yeah.
What are the chances of us like sitting here doing this podcast, right? Like, it's pretty crazy to just think about. Let's end this kind of like, well, not yet, but let's end it on like a lighter note. Did anybody ask you any questions on, not lighter, not that we had a negative podcast. This is a really good conversation. But we'll leave these till the end, see what people said on the Not Gonna Lie. I don't think I got any questions, to be honest.
Where do we where do we draw the line as
I
far
got
as
none.
do I mean, I'll just show you, and if you want to you pick the questions you want to get on.
Like, they're literally just dumb.
Yeah, so it'll tell you which ones are from Not Gonna Lie and which ones are from, like, I guess someone that actually saw it. But I think that this is the first one that I got. These are super old, like you staken. But I only got 4 questions, I guess, from people.
It literally every single person just asks if you're single, Eric. I mean, I'm assuming they're asking you, right?
Yeah, I think so as well.
Unless they like,
Oh shit!
I
Unless
posted the same link.
You posted the same link, right? Did you post the same link?
Yeah,
Well,
I
there you
did.
go.
Well, I guess everybody wants to know we're single.
Well, there's
Is
one
this
question
actually
on there
anonymous?
that's definitely for me.
Maybe.
Maybe is crazy.
It says, "I'd love to support your dream."
I'd love to support your dreams.
I love to support
You're
your
right,
dreams.
you're
That's what
right.
it says. Do you have any other questions? Anything that yeah, I think people are gonna love this. I think there's a lot of value.
This is awesome.
Yeah. If you're watching this, I hope that, we can inspire you to just be yourself. I think at the end of the day, the root of like everything that we do that's successful is because we're like leaning into like who we are. And that's a really hard thing to do. And I think we're both at a point to where we might make it seem like, oh, they've always done that, or they make it look easier or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, it's taken a lot of work. So if you guys have any questions on like how, anything that we didn't talk about, how we can, work to get there, I think that's something that we'd like love to talk about. But yeah, I hope that if you're watching this, I used to think that I was not a creative person whatsoever. I used to think that I was stupid. I used to think that like nobody wanted to listen to anything that I had to say. And it's truly just been like a lonely, like solo, like head down journey. Like, especially since I've lived in different cities, I've like made new communities, new friends, all this stuff. But at the end of the day, like really where this stuff has like, where my intentions are being written down, where I'm like journaling and crying and like even like learning stuff on YouTube, whatever, like that's been a solo dolo time for a long time. And so if you are, I truly think that with anything, it's like everything is like a skill set that you can like truly train and build. And so like just making yourself, try different things, and see what challenges you, what starts to pull you in. And more than anything, find that feeling or that pull, or that if you see somebody and you're like, I don't know why, I just feel like I need to talk to them, go talk to them, tell them, hey, I don't know why I need to talk to you or whatever. But like most of the things that have happened in my life is because I just followed this like truly delusional voice in my head, and it's got me really far so far. So
yeah, that's
so
a good point.
definitely
That's
do
honestly
it.
a bit of a wake up call for me to do the same thing. I definitely have.
I mean,
those
I think
feelings
you are
sometimes.
doing. I think you do. I notice
Thank
it.
you,
I
thank
see
you,
it
man.
for sure.
Thank you.
And I appreciate like you make me feel seen because you're kind of like a mirror, right? And so it's like even and anytime that you're like, dude, you're killing on the content or something, like I always, every time you say that, like for whatever reason, the times that you've said that, I've always been in my head about like I don't feel like I'm showing up as much. And so it kind of makes me realize like, oh damn, like, but it's also, I respect it coming from you specifically because I know that you're like, putting in that work and that real recognize real type
it's
shit.
Inspiring to see you do your thing too.
Yeah. It's just cool to be aligned, You have anything else?
Yeah, just like I know you just said your closing remarks. I guess my closing remarks, I'll keep them very simple and sweet, but similar to what you just said right now. I hope that you feel seen, felt, heard, understood after listening to us talk right now.
Yeah, and something that like me a few years ago, I truly was numb, and I never realized how numb I was. Like I don't even know how to explain it other than numb. Like I didn't realize how much I didn't feel. So if us saying like, hey, how do you feel, or like follow that into, if you can't resonate with that whatsoever, just also know that that's like totally normal. And I truly think that like that awareness of the fact that like, awareness of I'm numb, I'm not feeling anything, is the breaking point, right? Like you just have to notice that you don't feel, and know that there's a possibility to feel more, and you're probably not feeling because there's been a lot of suppress. Like you can't block the like what Sebum said this after he won the last Olympia. It was like, you can't block the bad because you'll block the good. Like you can't numb the bad without numbing the good. So you have to feel all of it. And the sooner that you realize that, like, you know, if you don't feel right now, then start to get curious about that, and the right people and the right resources and stuff will just start to show up, honestly.
Whoa, you can't numb the bad without numbing the good.
Yeah.
Holy shit, that's
yeah. Because he said, like, you know, like he promised himself to not numb on the last Olympia, like not numb himself.
Yeah. I definitely heard a few of his pods after the last Olympia, and it was
and he's just drastically changed as a human being,
very
bro.
Emotionally intelligent guy.
Yeah, like I fuck with him way more the past couple of years.
I never even watched bodybuilding or gave a fuck about bodybuilding, but I did see him on like a few podcasts.
Yeah, the way he's training his body is also very functional.
Hey,
just saying. I don't
follow, honestly.
Yeah. Well, I follow. So like, Sebum has a app called Standard, and one of their main guys, Justin King, trains him, and Christian Guzman. He's in Phoenix, actually, and so much of his philosophy is like very similar to mine. So I specifically watch.
Is he like an MMA trainer as well?
He trains a lot of athletes. Yeah. I forget, but he's one of the coaches for Standard. But I watch Christian religiously, so like he's broken down like the way that he's training now. He's like rolling his feet out and shit. It's like the best. But I think that the way that you move your body, the way that you train your body, has a lot to do with the way that like these shifts that people are going through. There's the correlation there 100%. I mean, I feel it.
I could talk about that for a while.
Oh, 100%. Like it's like a whole other pod. Yeah, we're gonna cut it off. It's a whole other pod. But thanks so much for coming on. We'll definitely do this again. If you guys like this one and you want Eric back on and you wanna ask us any questions, let us know. But yeah. Stay functional, baby.
Stay functional.
Stay functional, baby. Yeah. All right. Hell yeah. That was a good ass pod.